So we finally made it to War of the Planet of the Apes, which is the third Planet of the Apes film in the second rebooted franchise of Planet of the Apes. And this is now, like, it's really quick to say, but I think this is my favorite Planet of the Apes movie. And I know that people love the 1968 Charlton Heston one, and I think that is a classic, and it does deserve to be set in that pedestal as a classic. And Rise and Dawn, I think, are really good movies too. And they're always ones that I don't watch as much, so I forget about how good they are. And I didn't watch Rise or Dawn before War again because I didn't have time, and I'd realized while watching War of the Planet of the Apes I didn't need to because, like each film in this trilogy, they feel very singular, but you can watch the other films as a trilogy, but you don't have to, in which the films are not very connected, in which they don't have the same set of characters except for Caesar and the apes, and it doesn't go in the same story thread, so you don't have to watch them all, but you can if you want to, and I really like that. I like the trilogy like this, where it feels like they all are separate, standalone, but you can watch the other ones and realize what had happened before or after. And I like that about this trilogy, because it really works so well as a complete trilogy, but also as a separate trilogy, but not in a bad way. It really works as a trilogy. And I love how this one, because we usually get a third movie in a trilogy, and they usually suck or aren't that great, and there are definitely exceptions, but I love how this one, for me, is my favorite Planet of the Apes film, and it's definitely my favorite out of the three. Even though I loved Rise and Dawn, I thought that they were really good too. But this one I thought blew it out of the water in just terms of the visuals, in terms of the characters, in terms of the brutality of it, in terms of how Caesar has changed through these three films, and how you find out where the world is at this moment. And I really like that you see how dire it is, and how it feels like there's not much hope. And I like that the apes are evenly matched with the humans, even though from the other two films, now there are barely any humans left in the world. And I really like that you have that type of development with apes and humans, but the humans are not as important. I mean, they are important in a sense, because you see the brutality of these humans and how these apes are towards each other. And I like how you can look at the humans and the apes from both sides, because the apes did cause this big thing to happen in the world, and the humans are trying to obliterate them, but the apes are, quote-unquote, human beings too. Like, they have feelings and want to live, want to have a life too. And this war, whenever it finally develops from these three films, I really thought that it was so well done, just showing how humans and apes are both like good and bad. They're not clear cut. They really do have good reasonings why they do these things, and I love how they clash not because they're both evil or even really good, but they both, just through a series of events, clash with each other. And I like how they developed that with these films. And I really thought that Woody Harrelson was really good in this movie. He was really, really terrifying as this colonel who is just a dictator. And I thought that it really just, Woody Harrelson's always great, but in this movie he really, really sold being this horrifying villainous character, and villainous. But I like that you get more of him as it goes along. And I love too how in these movies, in this trilogy, it's not very dialogue-y, in terms of, you don't have to overly explain how these characters, why they're doing what they're doing. You just figure out with the visuals, or you figure out with just a mere couple of words. It's not like you get a full explanation, like a paragraph full of why people are doing these things. I love how you get that in this movie with the villain again, and the apes. I love how you see all of these characters, but they've all got reasons to be what they're being, but I like that they're not clear cut, and I liked how Woody Harrelson's villain was really interesting. And I'm gonna keep it spoiler free, but just he how he went from the movie and how it kept going along throughout. I thought that it was really good, and I thought that again, like Rise and Dawn, the visuals were good in those movies. They were really good, but my God, they have improved so much that it is insanely good how these visuals, these motion capture CG visuals are. They really are so strong in just how realistic they look. And we are getting to a time where there were some shots where it reminded me of the old films where it looked like now like kind of like a person in a costume. Like it was that real, if you get what I mean. It's really in a sense how far we've come in terms of technology, especially in computer technology for film. And I really, really thought that they were so visually stunning, and the movie is visually stunning. The cinematography is great. There's so many shots that are so breathtaking and epic and beautiful, and how it looks, and the action fits perfectly with how big the film feels and how epic it draws you in. I think that it really works on that level, and I really thought that how we also get a character who is a comic relief character, and you know how that goes in movies in terms of serious movies. But I liked how this character, this little monkey, this little ape that they find, it's really funny. And unlike Rise and Dawn, which may have had a tiny bit of humor, I can't remember honestly, but unlike those two, this one really had a humorous character, but it didn't change the tone of the movie at all. It didn't make it a comedy, it just made it have a couple moments of laughter. And honestly, it kind of fit for this character, because this ape is a kind of an ape who's gone kind of loopy, and I thought that it didn't ruin the tone. It really tonally worked well and stayed the same frequent tone throughout in terms of this gritty, brutal, kind of futuristic place they are in. And even with him, it worked. It made you relax a little bit in this dire situation of a movie, like how this whole movie feels. And I really liked how they contrasted that to how brutal the movie felt and how dire it felt too. I really loved that. And he was really funny. I think Steve Zahn voiced him, or well, I mean, motion captured him. But man, that really worked so well. And I thought everything was really great. I think it's one of the best movies I've seen this year so far. I think that it really is so strong in terms of the acting and the characters and how you feel for these apes. Even though I felt for them before in the other films. With this one, it really pulled me in more than the other ones, even though I did love the other ones. So I love how it can keep getting better and better as a third film in a fantastic trilogy. And I thought that, again, the visuals were fantastic, the action was great, how all of these characters were, and how they're not clear-cutting. You understand why they're doing these things, and you see the reasonings behind both sides, and I really love when movies do that. But overall, just War for the Planet of the Apes I thought was really, really well done. Definitely one of my favorites of this year. I don't know if it's my absolute favorite this year, because Baby Driver was really, really fucking good. But I think it's really up there. I think it's my second favorite. So, yeah, go see this movie and go support this movie, because it's not a superhero movie. And even though I love superhero movies, I think they're so fun, this is not going to make the money a superhero movie will make. Or maybe it will, I don't know. But I doubt it. I seriously doubt it, because that's what the route is going towards. So I really hope this movie makes money and people will go out and see this. But I have no idea if it will. I don't think it will, but I bet it'll make fine money, but I don't think it'll make a lot of money that will make everybody go see it. But I guess for the few of us who see it, yay for us. We got a great movie that fell under the radar, more so because of all the blockbusters we have, even though I do like blockbusters. But since it's so much under the radar with all these other movies coming out, it really sucks that this is one of my favorite movies this year so far, and it's gonna not be as popular. But that's okay. It's a diamond in the rough, and I'm glad I saw this, and I hope that you guys go out and see this and go out and support it because I want it to make good money, and critically it's doing fantastically. Like with critics, it's really a really highly rated movie this year. I think it's one of the highest rated ones. At least one of the not block one of the blockbusters that have come out this year. It's one of the highest rated ones I've noticed. So yeah, go see War for the Planet of the Apes. It is fantastic. Thanks guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.